Recording and right. Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Tonight we have an absolutely exceptional call. We are joined by Juice Plus royalty, and when I say that, is the person I'm going to introduce you tonight is an absolute legend in our business. From word go, she absolutely tore it up. Really made most phenomenal progress, and she's continued to make progress all the time. She's 100 club, well over 100 club now. And what is so spectacular is that nearly everything that she has done has been offline. And a number of people on the call are going to be jaws dropping, thinking, offline? How was that possible? But now, of course, I know, having spoken to Elisabeth recently, that she's going online as well, and we've got some very exciting things that she will share, I hope, a little bit about that tonight. So Elisabeth, a very warm welcome to you. Good evening. How are you today?
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Good.
I'm here in sunny Florida.
And it's mid-afternoon.
Sunny South Florida, and it's mid-afternoon, and it's 82 degrees.
Whoa, love it, love it. Okay, well, it's so lovely to have you, and let's just get straight into it now. And be very interesting, I think, if people could just hear a little bit first about your background.
Sure. My background is I always wanted to be a business owner. So I went to college thinking that a college degree would give me a background of owning a business. Well, that didn't. I got a job, and I went to law school. I thought maybe being a lawyer, I would be able to have that freedom and own my own business. I worked at a law firm while I was going to law school, and I realized I would not be a good lawyer. I did not like all the problems and hearing about everybody's problems. So long story short, I started a company. I started a business when I was 24 years old. I started a medical manufacturing company, which led me to Taiwan. I lived there for 6 months, came back to the States, settled in Florida. And I owned a business, James. With that, I had a huge warehouse. I had employees. I had lawyers. I had accountants. I had bankers. I had headaches. Something that I really thought I would love, owning my own business, I really didn't own it. It owned me. I had no free time. I worked many, many hours, sometimes 7 days a week. And I brought in a business partner. Partner did not work like I worked. I worked hard, he did not, and it just split up. I found Juice Plus at a trade show. I found this business at a trade show because I was very dissatisfied with being a traditional business owner. That's my background.
Fascinating. And I think a lot of people would really identify with that. I mean, anyone looking to go into business, it's a huge minefield. And you were very fortunate that you discovered that at such a young age. So just tell us a little bit about how you got going, because obviously this was a very different type of business to what you'd been doing. But you obviously got going with it. You've got a very professional business background, but there was something there that you really was attracted to. What was that main thing that you were really attracted to?
Yeah, that's a very good question, James. What happened to me is that when I decided I did not want to own that medical business, I started looking at different types of businesses, and that was in the early 1990s. And so I looked in the paper, I would go to seminars, I would go to everything I could look at. And I went to many trade shows. I saw this at a trade show. It made sense to me because I could own my own business, but I didn't have to have all the employees, the inventory, the receivables, the headaches. So I had no experience in this business. And the people at the trade show, they didn't speak any English. It was in Miami, and they spoke only Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish, but I saw that there was something there. You know, when you go to a trade show, you get one of these bags, and you put all the stuff in the bags. Then you get home, and you just kind of put it away in the corner. Not me. I went through every single thing. And I remember calling those people at the trade show. They never called me back. So I had the brochure. I called the company. I became a lead. So the company said, we can't deal with you. You have to be sponsored. And I'm like, a sponsor? What's that? And they said, somebody has to bring you in. I'm like, what kind of business is this? But I go with it. So they gave me two people's names. I called the first one. He wasn't home. I called the second one. came to my office in like 2 hours, and he started to scribble all this stuff on my board in my boardroom. And I finally said, I put my hand up. I said, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. All I want you to do is, whatever they call it, sponsor me, whatever, get me in the company, and I'll take it from there. Well, I had no experience, but I realized I had to be a good student, and I started reading books. I read all the books and listened to all the tapes I could get my hands on. And in my second month in this business, my sponsor, he had been in business 1 year. In my second month in this business, I passed him by in income because I treated it like a business. I didn't treat it like a hobby. I saw that I, for $50, owned $1 million business, and it was up to me. I had this little saying that I would do in my head all the time, first in the morning, last in the evening. If it's going to be, it's up to me. And I kept saying that over and over and over because I never relied on anyone. Because of my past business experience, I realized I couldn't rely on a partner. I only could rely on the person in the mirror. So I started to go to as many trainings as possible. Now, mind you, James, I lost my business, meaning I got out of that. My business partner took the company over. I had my car towed out of my driveway. I had my bank accounts frozen. I was very desperate, but not desperate to the extreme of, oh, please join the business. I was focused. And again, I saw $50 creating $1 million business.
And so what did you, I mean, it's a very, very interesting, Elisabeth, when you say that in your second month you overtook your sponsor. But so, you know, what did you do? I mean, you know, there you were at home or at your office and you had nothing in a sense. I mean, obviously you had your house, etc., but you had nothing in terms of the business as it was then.
Yes.
But you got moving. And a lot of people are going to say, well, what did you do? What did you do to get moving?
Well, mind you that my sponsor wasn't really doing anything. So 2 months was easy for me. Back then, I became a sales coordinator my second month in the business. And what I saw was bottom line, there were two aspects to this business, two options. And I saw the two options. I saw where I could get customers and be a retailer, and hopefully some of those customers along the way would become reps. Or the second option was I was establishing distributorships on a local basis, right in my backyard, on a statewide basis. I knew people in Orlando, I knew people in Jacksonville, throughout the state of Florida. And also I saw where I could build a distribution business nationwide. So I went with the establishing distributorships. And I figured that if I established distributorships, I would be able to move more product. Because just me, myself, I could only do so much. But if I had a team of like-minded people, I could move mountains. And that's what happened to me. I built a team straight away.
Fascinating. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, well, look, I mean, it sounds a brilliant strategy, but the whole art of team building is something that a lot of people are going to say, well, how do you do that? You sponsored people, but how did you then develop a team?
Well, I realized, James, this is not something that I had to talk. You know, I'm a very shy person. Well, let me tell you a quick story. I first started by my hairdresser. Most ladies have a hairdresser. So I went to my hairdresser, and my hairdresser said, so tell me, what's going on in your life? And I said, you know, funny you should ask. I just started a new business. I started a business, and I'm looking for money-motivated, ambitious people. Do you know of any? And she looked at me and she said, yes, my son, he's 26 years old. He wants to be a millionaire by the time he's 29. Would you talk with him? I said, yes, I would. I went and I presented the information to him. You see, again, I didn't see where I was a seller. I'm a shy person. I could not sell. I don't want to be salesman. And I saw where all I had to do is get good at presenting information in a professional way. And that's what I did. So, back then when I first started, we didn't have the DVDs. We had the tapes, the video tapes. And I would bring that videotape with me, and I would go to people. I would bring the meeting to the people. I would make it easy for them to see the information. Many people say, well, I've got to have them come to me. No, I was bringing the information to the people to get the people to come to the meetings. So that was a philosophy of mine right at the get-go. So I remember going to do the presentation to him. His name was Lou. He signed up right on the spot. A lot of his contacts were in Michigan. He went to Michigan, and then he kept calling me. Please come and help me. Now, I lived in South Florida, being very shy. I was not going to go there. I was not going to do a big meeting. So we kept calling, and then he said, so what is it going to take to get you to come? And I said, out of the blue, I said 15 people, never thinking he would get 15 people in a room. He got 15 people. 2 weeks later, he called and he said, I've got 15 people. They're willing to come to a meeting. They're open to looking at a business. Will you come? Now, I had to keep my word, and I had to go. And at the time, I couldn't afford to fly. I got in my car, and I drove from Fort Lauderdale to Detroit. It took a day. Couldn't stop at a hotel. Didn't have the money. Stopped on the rest areas. Continued on. Got there. He had this big display in the hotel, and I remember him introducing me, and I got up there, and 15 people, 30 eyes on me, and he said, this is Elisabeth Small. I couldn't say my name. I couldn't say a word. I stood there and looked at everyone, and I remember turning to him and saying, I can't do this. I walked out of the room, walked into the ladies' room, and locked myself in the stall, thinking he would come and get me. And I stayed in there for 2 hours. 2 hours. And then I remember hearing a knock on the door. He said, you can come out now. They're gone. He said, when I came out, he read me the riot act, which I deserved. I said, bring it on. Tell me, because I was just going to tell him, look, I'm out of here. And then he turned to me and he said, you know what? That was the best thing you could have done. And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? Now, mind you, I had no presentation. I was just going to talk. I had no set format. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have the words. So he said, that was the best thing you did to walk out the room, because out of the 15 people, 14 of them signed up. And I said, signed up for the product? He said, signed up for the business. They said, if that girl can do it, we can do it. And that's how I started. And then he said, so what did you want to tell me? I said, no, never mind. He said, well, that's the good news. They're signed up. The bad news is they're coming back and you have to train them. They're coming back a day after tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So what happened, James, is I became resourceful. Back then, I had to go buy one of those overhead projectors. I wrote out my training, and I got my training from this book. This, to me, was the Bible for me. This book taught me everything.
And that book it's Don Failer?
Don Failer, the 45-second presentation. I read the book. I wrote the trainings out of the book, and that training that I did 2 days later, 45 people came. They were all in our conference room, out the door, down the hall. 45 people came. I did the training, just read the training, but I was prepared. And out of those 45 people, well, after 2 months of us doing these meetings, we were having over 200 people coming to our weekly briefings. And I was so shy still that I looked for people on my team that liked to be on stage, because there was a lot of them. And so I would help them, give them the presentation that they needed And they went up there and they performed, and I was in the back applauding, clapping all the way to the bank. Because in my first year in this business, I had 3 national marketing directors, a 20-year-old, a 26-year-old, and a 32-year-old, which made me a national marketing director. So building team, I got that concept from this book, Don Falia. And then, well, along the way, I started reading Jim Rohn. Anything that Jim Rohn wrote or audio taped or any lectures, I was there. Because I knew I had to build me personally. I had to have some personal development. And what I did was Jim Rohn, and I did Dale Carnegie. I went to a Dale Carnegie course. So for me, what happened? I stayed up in Michigan for 4 months. I became a QNMD up there. And I worked day and night. I worked day and night. We met the people. We did presentations every day, all day long. I prospect. 80% of my time was on prospecting, looking for new people to get in front of. And I prospected. And when I came back to Fort Lauderdale, it was then winter time, and I joined a Dale Carnegie course, and I started developing me personally, my personal presentations. And we met once a week for several weeks, for quite a while. And I remember just getting good at being comfortable in front of people and learning how to present. That's what was my focus.
I love that. And I love the fact that you were so focused on team building and so focused on being such an amazing student. But the thing is, Elisabeth, is that you took that system approach, didn't you? And you took it not just into building a team, but you took it into your daily method of operation as well. And I know, just talking to you a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh my God. You're so good and so busy and so, working very effectively on a daily basis. So just tell us a little bit about how your DMO was and what it's developed into now. What is your as DMO daily method of operation?
Well, in many trainings that I've been in and many trainings I do, I believe that keeping the business simple you're able to make it duplicatable, which creates teams. If people get complicated, if you get complicated about knowing everything about the product and how it's made and where it's grown and all of that, nobody cares. And it's not duplicatable. So I kept it simple, James, with 4 activities. I kept it simple by teaching myself and training others on how to share the product. How to share the product effectively. And we do that by video. I'm all about video. I don't do explaining about the product. I let the doctors on the video do the explaining. I'm not the message, I'm merely the messenger. And I teach my people that. They're not to do a lot of talking, they're to do a lot of showing. So getting good at sharing the product was my number 1 DMO and teaching that. The second one is I always do 2 together, sharing the business. Sharing the business. That's why people join a business. They just did a big survey, and they showed that out of 10,000 people they surveyed. The question was, why would you want to own your own business? And the number 1 reason it wasn't to fire my boss, or was to do what I wanted. You know what it was? To earn income, to make money. 3/4, 75% or more of those people surveyed said, I want to make money. So I got good at showing the money. How much money people could earn if they joined the business. So sharing the product, number 1, sharing the business, number 2, was our DMO. Number 3 was promoting events, getting good at inviting and promoting, no matter what event it would be. Like today, the Zoom call is an event. getting people on the Zoom call, getting people to go to the local events, to the country events, to the national events, whatever it was, on the phone or in person. Now, we didn't have Zoom. We didn't have all the computer stuff we have today. So it was all about events, events, events. People need to have that. When I see people say, oh, I don't want to join your business, or I don't want to do your business because I have to go to events or meetings, I say, well, this isn't for you. Because doctors do their business in doctors' offices, and dentists do their business in dentist offices. Football players do their business in arenas. We do our business at events. That's just part of our business. New people need to be at events to solidify their belief and their confidence. Old people, the people that are in the business, for seasoned reps, they need to go to into events to duplicate and to lead by example. And new prospects, they need to go to events to see a bigger picture. It can't just be what you see in a living room or what you hear on a phone. People need events. So number 3 was getting good at promoting and inviting people to all of the different events. And the 4th activity that we taught over and over and over was to attend and to give trainings. To attend trainings and to give trainings. Now, I've had reps who said, oh, I've already heard them before. I've heard them once. Why would I hear them again? Well, my answer is, well, can you do the training? Can you get up in front of the group and do that training? Well, no, I can't. Then you need to come to the trainings. Until a person is up in front of the room, they need to go to the trainings. And if they are up in front of the room, they need to attend the trainings to lead by example. So those are the 4 activities that we focus on, that I teach, and that is so important in a DMO.
Well, that's wonderfully simple. I mean, I love that, Elisabeth, and I think you framed it so very interestingly, particularly the sharing of the product. I love that about the, not the messenger, we're the messenger, and not talking, but showing. Let me ask you, I mean, you're bringing in new people all the time, I know, and that's why you are so successful. But in today, let's say you're starting a new person off, how would you get them to senior direct, and how would you then move them to sales coordinator? I know you work quite intensively with people when they get going, but what are you actually doing with them, and what are you encouraging them to do, and what's the program?
Well, when I get a new person in, and we sponsor people quite a bit, week before last, 3 people already. Last week, 2 people. So I start with a 90-day program. I tell them, this is going to be a 90-day program. You've got to commit to 90 days. And then at the 90 days, you and I are going to sit down, or if it's a husband and wife, we are going to sit down and we're going to reevaluate where you are to see where you are and how you might fit in this program. So already I got them thinking that they got to perform. So the first thing that they have to do, as soon as they sign up, and I am a big believer, this is my old-fashioned way, I have an application. I physically have them fill out the application. And to me, it makes them feel like they're actually starting a new business. You own a franchise, you have to sign a whole bunch of forms. Traditional business. So with this Juice Plus, I have them filling out the form, I have them signing in, and then as soon as they're signed in, I extend my hand, welcome to our team, your first homework assignment. And I give them a first homework assignment, and it's the memory jogger. I have them filling out a memory jogger. I want to see how many people they know. And I tell them, they say that by the time a person is 40, that they can write down at least 200 names. And then I kind of laugh and I said, I'm not asking for 200 names, but can you list 50? I need to have you list as 50 names of people you know all over the country, who you do business with, who your doctors are, everybody you know. And then I say, how long will that take you? Then I have my day timer. I have my phone, and I say, okay, how long would that take you? And I look at my calendar, and they say, well, and I say, today is what, Monday? You think you have it done by Wednesday, Thursday? They say Thursday. I say, great. Thursday it is. Let's get together. We're going to sit down. I'm going to qualify that list with you. And on Wednesday, I call them, James, and I say, hey, this is Elisabeth. Do you have your list done? And they say, well, I've been too busy, or I did this. And I say, then there's no need for us to meet. This is a serious business. You told me that you wanted to make $2,000 a month in the next 6 months. Now, were you serious, or were you kidding around? You see, at the meeting, when they're signing up, I ask them specifically, how much money would they like to make? I get their whys in place straight away. It's not about the how-to so much, it's about their why. I want to find out why they want this, what are they willing to do for it, what's their long-term dreams. I get them talking, and I need to remind them. So they say, okay, I have the list. They don't have the list done. So I say, well, how many days more do you need? They say Friday. I say Friday, good. I'll call you on Thursday to confirm that you've got it done. So they see that I'm serious, that I'm just not waiting for them. I've got a lot of other people that I'm working with. And I think we as reps have a tendency to say, oh, let me help you. Let me do whatever I can. Because that's a mentality of scarcity, and I'm not of that nature. I want people to say, hey, I need her help. I need to earn her time. We got to get this done. So anyway, we get on Friday, they have the list, and I qualify the list, James. And I qualify it very simple. H for health, people who are predominantly health conscious, H next to their person's name, and people who are business-minded, ambitious, motivated, B next to their name. And so now they've got this list of people, and we schedule 2 parties, 2 get-togethers. We call them here in the States HLPs, Healthy Lifestyle Parties. And they're getting their people together. I'm coming to do the meeting. They're just gathering the people. That's all they have to do. So they make a move, I make a move. They make a move, I make a move. They don't make the move, I don't make a move. So getting those 2 parties together gets them quickly to we call it we call it the VF position. You call it the what position?
Well, the senior direct.
Senior direct position, right. So we get them senior direct in 30 days. And then our whole next objective is, in the meantime, getting in front of their Bs, all the people that are business-minded, and making a full business presentation. Now, we call that a private business reception. That could be done in a clubhouse, in a restaurant, in their home, in my home, or we do one-on-ones, bringing the meeting to the people. And our objective with the Bs is to show them the business product, first the video, and then the business model, sign them up as distributors. And that's how we're getting them to sales coordinator in 60, 90 days. Because they're building a team. And so they're getting senior directs. And by getting senior directs, they're getting their volume up. And that's what we do.
Oh, I love that. I mean, wonderful strategy. And it's very, very clear. I mean, I've written lots and lots of notes, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. So we're just over 9 o'clock here in the UK, 10 o'clock in Central Europe, and 4 o'clock your time. And so we're just going to move in a moment away from our discussion, and we're going to move into question and answer. So for those of you that are online now, this is normally the most interesting part of the call, where we are going to ask some questions of Elisabeth. So would you, we've already got some very interesting questions that have come up so far, but if you have got some questions you would like to ask, now is the opportunity to get them down on the chat box. And we know we are in front of a guru here, someone who really, really knows her stuff and is tried, tested, and proven. So think about what you would most like to ask. And as we always say every week, there's no silly, stupid question. Any question you want to ask, almost certainly lots of people want to ask. So Elisabeth, just bringing up to a conclusion with our chat here, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, it all sounds amazing for you, Elisabeth. It all sounds like it's been plain sailing. You just determined that you were going to go for it and you became successful. But I just wanted to ask you, what's been the highest point and what's been the lowest point of your time with?
I think, I can answer that. The lowest point being that, the people, my friends, people who I really thought would do well in this business told me, what are you doing? Are you crazy? My family told me, are you crazy? You went to law school, you owned a business, you're doing that. Listening to people that I cared about and ignoring them. I think that was the low point, because I knew I found a gold mine. They didn't see it, but I saw it. Yeah. And I had to put the blinders on, and I could not be distracted by all the naysayers. And now, please, everybody that needs money comes to me. I'm the family bank. I was fortunate to be so successful early on that I took care of my parents for 15 years, and I had 3 siblings who did nothing. And I was able to take care of my parents and give them a lifestyle they could never, ever have. So I think, the reward at the beginning, they were the ones who told me not to, and now, I turned around. Now, the high side of the business is being able to do whatever I want, go wherever I want, never have to worry about money. I have more investments and money in the bank than I have in my ever life, and I was a very hard worker. But a lot of people are hard workers, but if they're not working the right plan, the right program, or with the right company, you could be a hard worker, but you're never going to go anywhere. You're spinning your wheels. I found a gold mine with the Juice Plus business, with the Juice Plus company, because they're at the right place, the right time, with the right product, and the company is solid. Is not often do you find a 46-year-old company. And to me, the mission statement is, this is, for me, it's always been, this is a company that looks for products that no one has, that everyone needs, and anyone can afford. To me, that's the mission statement, and it always has been for me. Okay, inspiring healthy living around the world, that sounds wonderful. But as a business person, I found a company that looks for innovative products that nobody has, anyone can afford, and everyone needs. Filling a need is basic business 101. This company does that every day.
Great, Elisabeth. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that has been really, really amazing. And we've got so much great information to be going over. Very, very interesting. So let's just now move to some of the questions. And some people have asked about the recording of this. That will be on Facebook, and we will put that on Facebook. Now, Jeff Montague-Smith, who is an IMD, senior NMD in down in, I think you're in Kent. I hope you are anyway. How does Elisabeth show people the earning potential when she shares the product? Does she use a napkin presentation in a one-to-one situation?
No, what I do is I actually focus on the company's program of, what is the key to our business? Qualifying. Every business, every company has an objective. The objective of the company is to qualify your business. So I show the potential that what the company shows. If you have 3 people, if you're qualified, you're a sales coordinator, and here in the States you make average of $400 to $500 a month. And here in the States, $400 or $500 a month with half the bankruptcies in America. Half the bankruptcies would disappear if somebody would just get an extra $400 to $500 a month. I show that. How do we do that? I show that we get by getting 24 people on the trio. I keep it simple.
And when you say the trio, Elisabeth, what are you talking about, the trio? The trio of products, or?
The trio of the reds, the greens, and the purples.
Right, the trio, right, yeah.
Okay. Or it could be the reds and the greens and the complete. A combination. but I show that simply getting that would earn somebody $400 to $500 a month, US dollars. If they got 3 people on their team, they could triple that. They would earn anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500 a month with 3 people on their team, each doing $1,000 a month qualifying. So I show that matrix, and I show that, and I ask people, where do you want to go? I use the company's numbers.
Yeah, and keep it very simple, as you said. Amy Durston asks, how do you encourage new team members to approach their prospects about the business? Because obviously you can't be doing it all the time. You've got a very successful approach yourself, but how do you teach and encourage your team members to do it?
Well, first of all, I don't encourage people, especially new people. If you're talking about new people, I encourage new people to talk to the people they know first, because those are the people that would be open to them. So I teach them to say, hey, I just got started in a new business. I'm looking for some either health conscious people or money motivated people. Does either one of those ring a bell for you? Something to that, very casual, not having a set. So I just got started in a Juice Plus business, and it is a company with 46 years old. That's what salespeople say. And I teach my people not to be salespeople. Nobody signs up to be a salesperson in this business, but yet as soon as they sign up, they start acting like salespeople. So I try to make them see that talking casually. I have people getting good at inviting. Hey, I'm having a party at my home next Tuesday. Can you come? I'm going to be making some exotic drinks, and I'm going to have some people over that are really interesting. And you're probably going to learn how maybe you could lose some weight. Not that you have to lose something. And I kind of joke, and they just joke, but here in America, everybody wants to lose weight. So I teach them how to casually invite. Now, once a person has been a little bit more seasoned, I teach people that they need to become good questioners. They have to ask questions about people. Asking questions about their job. Do they like it? When you ask somebody, do you like your job? Or you must like doing that. Everybody says, oh, I can't stand it. I hate my job. So I teach my people to make a mental note, not to just say, hey, I got something here for you. No, just become a good listener, become a good asking questionnaire. And then once you've had lunch with somebody or you've talked to somebody on the phone or you see them on the gym, or make mental notes of what they said about their job, about their finances, about their recreation. Do they get to go on vacations, or do they not have money? Finding out about people, asking them about their family. Do they get to spend time with their family? Would they like more time with their family? These are 4 questions that I teach my people to ask and to make mental notes, because then what they can say is, and I tell them, don't talk about Juice Plus. It is a process. What we do is we expose information over a period of time. And I think a lot of people want it instantaneous. And I don't think you can get instantaneous in this business. I think you can say the wrong thing to the right person. So I think you have to go through a process of understanding who you're talking to, finding out who they are, finding out what their wants and dreams are before you can present the business. And then once you present the business, it's several exposures of information. I used to, James, give people a packet of information. I used to give them everything and leave it with them. And then 2 weeks later, I'd come back and it never moved where they put it, because they said it's too much information. I don't have time for all that. So I give one piece of information over periods of time. Now that could be in 2 weeks, that could be in 3 weeks, that could be in however way the person takes their information. But it's a series of exposures over a period of time.
Okay. Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I love that.
I have a whole training on scripts. There's so many things you could say to
By the
people.
way, is any of your stuff on YouTube? Have you got videos on YouTube? Because this is so fascinating what you're saying, or not?
I do not. I've done all my business not online. I think we're different. In the UK, I think in Europe, it's more online.
Yeah.
I think here it's a little bit more touchy-feely with people. That's kind of how I built my business.
But you've done recently very well, though, with online. You told me that you've had you put a post up and you got how many likes?
Over 1,500.
And everybody's going to say, what on earth did you post to get 1,500 likes?
Go to my Facebook page and see it.
Okay. I did
it right here in my kitchen. And it was, people watch videos. They don't want to see a still picture. They don't want to read about anything. They want to see a video. Again, instantaneous. They want to see it. So
have you got some good results from that?
Oh yes, a lot of results. Myself and my team. I'm getting emails and text messages of people. Hey, I got a customer because of I showed them your Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. I love that. All right. So we're coming up to the completion now, really. So a question from Tanya. When you advertise an event, do you advertise it as Juice Plus? How do you get large amounts of people to come to an event?
Good question. Well, we do everything. We have a ticket system. We think that just giving a flyer, those days, in my opinion, are over. We make professional tickets. I'll give you an example. I have a team in Puerto Rico. I don't speak but maybe 5 words in Spanish, but I have over 1,000 reps in Puerto Rico. Okay, we just had an event this past weekend, Dr. Susan Silberstein, and I taught my team to use tickets, and they gave out and actually sold over 600 tickets and had people out the door. So we do a ticket system where we either meet people. See, I have a training on 12 ways to expand your business. It's all about prospecting. It's getting in front of people. So it's inviting people that you know. It's referrals. It's trade shows. It's farmers markets. It's going to seminars. I've recruited doctors that were the speaker at a seminar, and they became a distributor of mine. It's Facebook. Okay, we do tickets on Facebook, but it is a lot of inviting, getting out there. I'm a big believer in, look, this is a business of networking. We are in the network marketing business. And network marketing means you've got to meet people. So all of my top reps, including myself, we got good at joining business clubs. Joining business clubs that attracted business-minded people, because that's the type of person we wanted on our team. We wanted people who knew how to employ themselves, know what it is to be a business owner. So where do you find them? You join a business club, and I'm sure they have them where you are too. So we would promote the events to all of these places, and everything I'm telling you. We would also make big posters, and we would put them in health stores. And it did say Juice Plus, sponsored by, or we put Prevention Plus was at the heading. We would feature the speaker, and we have a picture. Everyone loves pictures. And we would have just a short bio, because nobody wants to read a lot. We don't have a lot of written material on the poster. But at the end, we would have the date and the location, but they would need to have a ticket. So we would have the person's name or email or text. They would have to request a ticket from us. And that's how we get people. Because we didn't just want people showing up. We wanted to have them registered with that individual versus this individual. So we have kind of a organized control of the events.
Fantastic. Well, people, we're getting an awful lot of people coming on the chat, Elisabeth, saying awesome information, amazing nuggets. Elisabeth, you're amazing. You know, that people are loving what you're saying. Just finishing off now, what would you say to a new person who is looking at this for the first time, or maybe they're just starting and maybe they've had a bit of a difficult start? What would you say to them about the opportunity that you see that they have in their hands?
Well, I have a saying that if the business isn't working for you, fire yourself today and rehire yourself tomorrow with a different attitude and with a brand new start, no matter what position you're starting at. Just start like you're brand new with the objective of spending 70 to 80% of your time on prospecting, because that's where the business is. It is not rearranging the books or the paperwork on the file cabinet, or I think a lot of people do busy work, but the work really is prospecting, figuring out ways to create your list of contacts and adding to that list of contacts every single day, whatever that might be. Attending seminars, like I said, joining a club, trade shows. Look, I came from a trade show, so do I believe in trade shows? Yes. I've got a lot of groups from trade shows. I think people need to read. This is not a business that you just kind of wait for somebody to come by. You've got to educate yourself. I had to educate myself. This is a book that I read, The Wellness Revolution by Paul Zane Pilzer. Everything he writes, I read, because he's a visionary. He's the one who's saying that the wellness industry will be the next trillion-dollar industry. So it's not me saying it. I'm in the right place at the right time. So for people who are just taking a look or just getting started, I can just say you're at the right place at the right time. But it's you have to make it happen. This is a business of taking responsibility for your own business, ownership of your own business. Because if you owned a McDonald's or a Burger King or any type of a franchise, you would spend $500,000 just getting the franchise, and then you'd have to hire all the people, train the people, get all the stuff. You've got yourself a high-powered job, but nobody's going to do it for you. And I say, you've got $1 million business with Juice Plus. You've got to take ownership of the business. You've got to see it that it's going to pay you for what you're worth, based on your efforts. So if you do a little bit, you're going to get paid a little. If you do a lot, you're going to get paid a lot. That's how I see it. One more book, James, that I recommend, and this is called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. Another terrific book that I teach on my team to read. It is a terrific book of business ownership.
Fantastic. Well, Elisabeth, I have to say we are way over time, but I just couldn't stop you. I mean, you are fantastic. And I mean, everybody has said on the screen that this is amazing, fab information, great stuff, love this, amazing. So we just can't thank you enough for taking your time out to spend with us, give your nuggets, give this amazing information. Now, you do speak at the conferences, you run trainings, don't you, at the conferences, before the conference? Okay, so perhaps at some point we can participate there, and we hope that you will come over to Europe. So that would be wonderful. Well, everybody, thank you very much. James. Invite you, yeah. Well, you're invited big time. But I'll obviously talk to Simon. He's the man, Simon Ebola. But Elisabeth, thank you so much. We just absolutely loved having you on. I knew it was going to be good, but that was utterly superb. So, okay, just winding up, everybody. We're way over time, but just to let you know that next week we are going to Northern Ireland, and we shall be hearing from the latest presidential marketing director, Michelle Morris. So that is bound to be absolutely incredible again. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you, Elisabeth, so much. We look
My pleasure.
to you soon, and we will post that on Facebook, and I'll send you a copy of this. So thank you everybody, and a very good night and a very good afternoon to you, Elisabeth. Take care. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye. Bye.